Have you ever had the wrong idea about someone? Everyone in my apartment building hated the maintenance guy. Jake would show up at the worst times, 7 a.m. on Saturdays to fix things no one reported broken. He'd leave notes about tiny violations like bikes stored wrong or plants too close to fire exits. Once he reported Mrs. Chen's welcome mat for being 2 inches over the line into the hallway. People called him the building Nazi behind his back. I joined the hate completely when he knocked during my daughter's 5th birthday party. The music wasn't even loud, but he stood there with his clipboard writing a noise complaint at 3 in the afternoon. I wanted to slam the door in his face, but just nodded while my daughter's friends watched confused. Then came that Wednesday that changed everything. I was rushing to pick up my daughter from daycare when the elevator broke with me inside. No phone signal, emergency button not working, and I was trapped between floors 3 and 4. My daughter's daycare charged $1 per minute after 6 p.m., and it was already 5:45. I banged on the doors screaming for help until my voice cracked. That's when I heard Jake's voice through the shaft asking if I was okay. I yelled, "I need it out now, my daughter was waiting." He said to stay calm, and I heard him running up the stairs. 5 minutes later, the elevator lurched and started moving. When the doors opened, Jake was there sweating and holding emergency tools. He'd manually cranked open the motor room and reset everything himself, but he didn't stop there. He grabbed his truck keys and said, "Get in, I'll drive." We made it to the daycare with 2 minutes to spare. On the ride back, my daughter fell asleep in her car seat. That's when Jake's phone rang. He answered on speaker. It was a woman's voice speaking broken English. "Jake, today, doctors say maybe walking soon. Maybe the therapy working." His whole face lit up. "That's amazing, Maria. Tell Carlos I'm proud of him." After hanging up, he went quiet. Then he told me about his nephew Carlos, 8 years old, born with cerebral palsy. His sister Maria brought him here from Honduras for treatment, but she barely spoke English and couldn't work legally. Jake paid for everything. The therapy, doctors, their apartment. "That's why I'm so strict about the building rules," he said quietly. "Can't lose this job. It's the only thing keeping Carlos in treatment." I sat there feeling sick. Every time we complained about him being uptight about rules, every eye roll, every nasty comment in the group chat, he was just trying to keep his job to save a kid's ability to walk. That night, I posted in our building's group chat, told them about Carlos, about the therapy, about why Jake acted the way he did. The next morning, something beautiful happened. Mrs. Chen knocked on my door with an envelope. "For Carlos," she said. By noon, 15 neighbors had contributed. By the end of the week, we'd raised $3,000. When I gave Jake the money, he just stared at it. Then this man who never showed emotion at work started crying right there in the hallway. He kept saying thank you over and over. 2 months later, Jake invited the whole building to a party in the community room. We watched Carlos take his first steps without his walker. He made it 3 feet before falling into Jake's arms, both of them laughing and crying at the same time. Everyone was recording. Everyone was cheering. That's when I realized sometimes the person who seems the hardest is just the one fighting the hardest battle. Jake wasn't the building Nazi. He was just an uncle who loved a kid enough to be hated by everyone if that's what it took. Mrs. Chen still has her same welcome mat in the same spot. Jake never wrote her up again.